Hello, all you out there. This is Between Two Worlds, podcast about belief, unbelief, and everything in between. I'm your host, Scott Trout, here with an old friend of mine. He's not old, but we know each other from a bit ago. Ali Almulla, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm more than happy to be here.
Um, yeah, I'm excited. So we're recording across country lines. You're in Kuwait. I'm
Yeah,
here in Amsterdam. I'm in my recording dungeon yet again.
right.
And you said you're at your house, right?
Yeah, I'm in my house. On one side, you hear people speeding with a lot of car noises, and on that side, you see garbage trucks just picking up the garbage, and on that side, you just hear like weird bathroom noises. So, and that's like the quietest place I have in my house.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Yeah, you had said weird noises before, but now it makes sense what noises you're talking about. It's bathroom
yeah,
noises. Yikes.
yeah.
Which we have that a little bit in Amsterdam too. I'm not used to it in the US where
Really?
you kind of have your own house, but in Amsterdam,
Yeah.
yeah, like our bathroom is right next to someone else's bathroom, and so you can
Really?
hear what's going on. Yikes.
Oh, okay.
But it sounds like yours is family because you're living with all your younger siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I live with my younger siblings. I'm like the oldest of all of them, which is which is fun, honestly. Like whenever like I'm in house, I feel like I'm like in Disneyland because because every day there's something new that's happening. One day they are playing chess, the other day they are playing football, and the other day they're playing doctors or medicine or restaurants. So I'm like happy to be always involved with them.
Ah,
Uh,
fun.
like I'm 23 years old. Like people at my age should be married and have family, but I'm like in between. I'm like a child with my family, but like I'm like a grown up when I'm in the real life. Like I'm like
Yeah.
a serious man. So I'm like between two personalities sometimes, which is fun because like people need to have some diversity of personalities. I don't want them to be like strict on one thing because like this will make life sad or
Hmm.
like black and white.
Hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. That's so fun. Yeah, I love when I get a chance to hang out with like kids and just play
Yeah.
the things that they're doing. But then also it's nice to have adult world. And okay, so you're the oldest, and so you actually play along with the games that they do.
Yeah, I mostly play with them football and chess.
Nice.
So it's fun. I don't play
Huh.
with them restaurants or medicine because I think that's too children. But like I play with them chess because it teaches both of us and it's like really good for like for you as a person. And I play with them football because they enjoy playing football and just scoring goals against each other. So
Hmm.
it's fun. It's fun to be involved with them.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Um, So, Ali, let's do a little bit of the beginning intro of just who we are, what we're a believer of. Um, so I'll start, and we did this a little bit already in the
Yeah.
pre-record thing, but we'll just do it again. Uh, so, yeah, I'm Scott. I'm a believer in Christianity, but really what I'm specifically trying to figure out is how do I follow Jesus in everything that I do? I'm realizing being away from America that there's an American Christianity and there's maybe a little bit of a European Christianity. And so and I think this makes sense. You have your national identity and then what you believe spiritually, and sometimes they blend. So it's good for me to be in another country and realize, some of the things that I thought were Christian might be just more American. Uh, so
Uh,
I'm trying to figure out what does it mean to simply be a follower of Jesus.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So as you all know, my name is Ali. I was raised up as a Muslim. Um, I was told that Islam is the religion to follow, and the other religions are like don't follow. But my grandfather had installed a unique point of view when I was young. He told me it doesn't matter what religion you're following, as long as you believe in God or Allah. That's the most important thing because at the end of the day, we all believe in God. So that unique perspective that he gave me was installed with me when I came to the United States. It is still with me today. Yeah, it really played a big role. I still believe in Islam, but I view like Islam like as a personal relationship between me and God. So whatever I'm doing, only God is the one who's judging me, and not anyone else. But I think like I'm like not doing my part to fulfill, like to become a full Muslim. Like there are some things missing, like praying 5 times a day, fasting 30 days a year. So I don't do these things, but I would say if I do these things, it would be much better in the long run. Because like at the end, fasting, like I view fasting and praying as an investment into the world after. So like by saying that religion is a personal relationship between me and God, full stop, that doesn't mean that I need to forget about the rest. No, I need to do the rest, but I just want it to be between me and God. I don't want anyone interfering in my life. That's it. So that's like one of the things that I'm struggling with until today. I think it's mostly due to procrastination, and yeah, it's mostly due to procrastination. So if I just eliminate that thing, I think that I will have a better relationship with God.
Wow.
It's good, but I want it to be better.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, cool. I bet we'll unpack a lot of those things. Wow. Okay. And so for those of you who don't know, Ali's big on TikTok and YouTube.
Yes. Only TikTok. Only
well,
TikTok.
He's got some great YouTube videos out there, and they're revolving around travel, right?
Yeah.
So how can people find you?
So they just go to TikTok, just put my name AliAlmulla 97, and they will find me on TikTok.
Okay. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what you have out there. Well, that's exciting. New job, and I love that thought. So yeah, I'll check back in with you in a couple of years, see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what will happen.
Yeah.
I always ask myself, what will happen in the next year, in the next 2 years? Like I always ask myself these questions. I'm just curious to know.
Yeah.
But like you just need to work towards it.
And it seems like you love traveling specifically. That's what you want to talk about and make videos about. And
I love traveling out countries in general because because I'm like from Kuwait. It is a tiny country in the world, so it's not worth living the rest of my life in Kuwait. Because I don't treat Kuwait as my only country. I treat the world as my country. It's as my playground. So yeah, that's what I hope to be there. Like I gave myself a deadline of 2 years. Yeah, because my contract ends with the job in 2 years, so it's good.
Exciting. Hey, well, let's jump back into your story.
Absolutely.
And I want to start from kind of more like your childhood, and I want to hear what it was like to grow up as a Muslim as a child. What are the things that you remember? What were some of the things taught to you? So yeah, take me back to some of the early lessons.
Absolutely. So I would say raising up as a Muslim, I was raised up like any other person, but I didn't meet people like from other religions. So I was like taught like Islam is like the only religion, and like you should only follow Islam. You can't change between religions. You can't become a Jew or a Christian or a Hindu. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But like and then like towards like in my last year of high school, I was like questioning Islam. I'm like, is that legit? Is that real? Is like Islam a true religion? Should I follow Islam for the rest of my life? I just started asking myself this question, and then I moved to the States, and like Islam was like an thing. It's not like a big deal. And I got more into drinking and partying and stuff. So that was fun. But like, and then I asked myself, okay, if I want to become a better person, should I become a devout Muslim for the rest of my life with no fun, or should I just have fun for the rest of my life without being a devout Muslim? So I was struggling between these two ends, and I wanted to find a balance between the two. So like after my second year, like towards my after my second year, there was like this big moment. I'm like, then I took a break from Corvallis from OSU and moved to Portland because I was taking physics there. So it was like a big break from Corvallis. Honestly, I had like a lot of personal problems with people and with myself also. Like I had problems with religion and things.
Hmm.
I went to Portland, finished the accelerated physics course. Then I came back to Corvallis, and then I took my first job, which was like, woo, mind blowing. It changed my life to the better, and it taught me time management. But time management became much more effective after I met up with you because you told me about the calendar thing, and it
Yes.
has an effect till today. So like one of the most valuable like when I met you like at was dining. So like that was like one of the most impactful moments at OSU
Huh.
because you told me about the calendar thing, which changed my life to the better.
Huh.
Um, so like time management came into effect, and then Islam came into it. I'm like, okay, what should I do with Islam? You know, like you have like a lot of things, and you're like, okay, I have a lot of problems with this, and then I got Islam. Okay, what should I do with Islam? So I was thinking, and then I got back to praying, which feels good. And then my grandmother passed away. Then I started to pray like 2 months straight, nonstop.
Hmm.
So like I never skipped a prayer, which was good.
Hmm.
And then I skipped it, and then I was like in a downhill roller coaster. Then things came back up, then down, then up. And I was like, you know what? Religion is amazing, but it should be a personal relationship. That's what happened to me when COVID happened. Like when COVID
Hmm.
happened, I'm like, just religion is a personal relationship. That's it. And I actually like it. But like there's still, as I said in the beginning, some missing elements that needs to be fixed because nothing is perfect in life. Things needs to be fixed. So I need to improve my praying and I need to improve my fasting. And I view
Hmm.
praying, as I told you, as a way to manage my time because the first prayer call is at 5 a.m. in Kuwait time, and the last time to call prayer is at 8 p.m.
Hmm.
Like I view if I do my praying duties on time, then my time management will be resolved automatically. Like
Hmm.
automatically. And I'm still struggling with it every day. Um, I'm still struggling with it. Like I'm not the most perfect person, and even when it comes to fasting, I need to fast 30 days a year, not skip, not like eating by myself or with my brother because we usually order McDonald's 2 hours before the call to Maghrib prayer, like to break our fast. So like there are some things that needs to be improved a lot. There are a lot of things to be improved. I'm not the most perfect person, but like even like before getting married, I want to make sure that I know how to pray consistently. I know how to fast 30 years consistently because I don't want to install this bad behavior into my children because at the end of
Hmm.
the day, my children, hopefully in the future, will be a reflection of me.
Hmm.
So like I need to improve myself in the next 10 years to make sure that my children will become better. Like my children, when I raise my children, I want their raising to be way better than how my parents raised me.
Hmm.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean by that? Like it doesn't mean that I don't like them or anything. It's like I want to improve on it. That's it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Compound, yeah. That's like what I want to do.
Wow. Um, so I guess, yeah, let me ask, what kind of things did you see from your parents in terms of religion?
Um, so I'm like actually pretty grateful because like my parents are not that strict, which is like pretty good. So like they're religious, but like they are not that religious. Okay, like they don't force you, like they don't force my sisters to wear the hijab. They don't force me uh to wear like the traditional cloth, which is like not part of Islam, but like they don't force it on us. They want us to be ourselves. Um, I guess still some strictness, but it's like I think that kind of strictness that they gave us is good to discipline us. but they don't overstrict us. You know what I mean
Hmm.
by that?
Hmm.
So like I'm like pretty grateful by how my parents raised me, but like at the end they are like they could do things much better. But like I'm like not gonna blame them because like they tried their best. Um, but yeah, it was pretty good, and my relationship with my parents is way better now than before.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would say it's way better now than before. Way better.
How come?
I used to be very angry at them. I used to be very. I get I get frustrated easily before going to college. But like after going to college, I'm like a very chill person. Like from the most frustrated person to the most laid back person in the world.
Hmm.
Honestly, it's not only me. Even my dad went through the same phase, which I'm like pretty grateful for. Like he even changed his way in how he speaks with people, which had improved my relationship with him dramatically, which is good, which is very good. And my mom is still the same, but like I manage with it. Like my mom helps me how to manage with other people in life, which is good, which is good. Even my brothers and sisters, they are being much more older and wiser, and they are now overtaking my throne because I used to be the most dominant person, but not anymore. They're now dominating me. So like I have like this good relationship. Like I have like this love hate relationship, but it's not hate. It's like loving hate. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 It's the good and the bad of
Yeah, the good and the bad.
the relationship that you love them, their family, but then there's always, of course, things that are nice and things that are not so nice.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, Ali, it's so interesting to see you talk about how it's a personal relationship,
Yeah.
yet you still feel like there's a lot of things that you need to do better.
A lot. Like a lot of things that needs to be better. Like if I just did my prayings every day and do my fasting, I like just doing the basic things. Like I think I nailed down the basic things, which is like being a nice person, being trustworthy, doing the right thing. I think I nailed these things, but I didn't nail the praying part and the fasting part. So I think I need to nail these two things first, then I can move forward with Islam. Like
Hmm.
before going deeper and deeper and deeper. Like at the end of the yeah, like at the end of the day, I don't want to be too religious. Like my goal is not to be too religious. That's not my goal. But my goal is to be able to manage religion with my goals, you know?
Huh.
Like yeah.
Huh. Wait, yeah, what's the line of too religious? What would be something that's or someone that's too religious?
Like for me to force my to if you force people to praying with you, I'm like just cut it. Like it's not your job, you know. Like
Huh.
I even like when I walked outside like in my neighborhood, and like some person randomly told me if I went to the mosque to pray. I'm like, no, I didn't, and I was like in the inside I was like, it's none of your business if I go praying or if I want to pray
Oh,
or no.
wow.
So yeah.
So a stranger asked you, "Hey, did you go to the mosque to pray?" Whoa. Yeah. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
I can see why you would have that reaction of like it's between me and God or something. But that seems like maybe more part of society there where people are trying to or like keeping each other accountable to their faith or something like that.
I think so. Yeah, it's actually a new point of view that I just heard for the first time. Like, I think society wants to make people more accountable. Yeah, I actually never thought about this.
Huh.
Yeah, I actually never thought about this.
Because I guess one of my questions, so like you
Yeah.
the call to prayer happens 5 times a day, and that's
Yes.
one of the main pillars of Islam, right?
Yes, one of
Right.
the 5 pillars of Islam.
Maybe we should just go through those. So it's
Yeah.
prayer, fasting. Actually, this will be a good quiz for me. So it's prayer, fasting, and then pilgrimage to Mecca,
Yes. Yes.
and then there's something about charity, like giving
Yes.
to the poor,
Yeah.
and then the fourth is it like hospitality?
No, the fifth is actually like most people don't know it. Like I even like tested my brothers and sisters, they even didn't know the fifth one. The fifth one is al shahada, which you say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, which means there's no God but Allah and Muhammad is the prophet of Allah.
Mm.
So like if you accept this message, then you checked off one of the 5 pillars.
Okay. It's like a profession of what you believe.
Yeah, it's like a contract.
Okay, explain that. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so it's just a new word that popped out of my head. So do you know like when you come and sign a lease for an apartment and you're like you agree to stay from this date to this date and pay 12 times a month, like 12 times a year every month?
Yeah.
It's like a contract. Like you agree that there's no God but Allah and Muhammad is the prophet of Allah. So it's like a contract between you and God. So so a shahada is a contract. It's equivalent to a contract between you and God.
And it's something that you are meant to publicly proclaim.
I will be honest with you, like for non-Muslims to become Muslims, they say the shahada.
Okay.
But for myself, I was raised up as a Muslim, so I never told shahada. So it's like automatically my mom and my dad are Muslim, so I'm like a Muslim. So I never told that publicly because like I was raised up as a Muslim. I was expected to be a Muslim at the end of the day. But for me, there's nothing wrong with saying this. Like I believe in that. I believe that Prophet, that Muhammad is like I believe there's no God but Allah. And like Allah is God. It's like the same thing, but like different names. Like they just want to make sure that you don't believe in other gods except for Allah. You know what I mean by that? And Muhammad is the prophet of Allah, which means that he's the last prophet of Islam. Like that doesn't mean that I don't believe in Jesus. No, I believe in Jesus. Jesus is part of Islam, but Muhammad is like he's like the face of Islam. As like how Jesus is the face of Christianity, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Right, because I've heard that Jesus is one of the prophets in Islam, but Muhammad was the last one.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay, wow. Okay, so those are the 5 pillars. So how come you have picked those 2 as the ones that you want to improve on? Fasting and prayer.
Oh, that's a good question. Because like I need to do these 2 things before doing the pilgrimage. You know, like I need to get these 2 things done before doing the pilgrimage, and I need to do charity. I actually I had artificially set in myself a goal to give 1 KD or like equivalent to $3 to every person in need in Kuwait every day. That's what I said to myself, but like I never fulfilled it. But like I think that's like the best way to give to charity. That's like what I like to do. Yeah.
Are there a lot of people then asking for money on the streets in Kuwait?
Honestly, no. Honestly, it's not like in the US. Like in Kuwait, there's no homeless people. Yeah, there's no homeless people, but like the people in need, I like to use the people in need. I don't like to use poor people because I think that's like a negative word. The people in need are like actually people like from Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, the Philippines. They're like they are like the expats who work in their country, like to do the jobs that us Kuwaitis don't want to do because we want to work in the high end in the high end jobs. We don't want to work in the bottom jobs. So so I love to help people, and like helping these people actually comes from my own heart. Like I want to help them. But like in the US, when I see homeless people, like I want to give them money, I want to help them, but like at the same time, I see them doing drugs because like which just says to me, no, I'm not gonna give them the money because like when I wasn't like in San Francisco, I saw someone putting like a drug, like a needle into their arms, which just scared me. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna help them with money. I'm gonna help them with food, and I did that. I helped them before, and it felt pretty good. So yeah.
Yeah, I know the dilemma you're talking about, and sometimes it is nice to say, hey, can I can I buy you a meal or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
By the way, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Is there homeless people in Amsterdam or no?
That's a good question. Yeah, there is, but I do wonder if I think Amsterdam tries to have a lot more shelters. So I think
Okay.
there is people who don't have homes and who are in need, but then the and also other organizations, because I know some Christian organizations that do this too, but they try to get them off the streets,
That
is what
makes
I
sense.
understand. So they try to give them a place to stay. So you don't have as many people asking for money, still sometimes in front of like supermarkets. Yeah, and part of me wonders then if they're kind of like out of sight, then people don't really have to think about them.
Uh, that makes sense.
And so there's kind of this catch-22, like in the US, sometimes it's overwhelming how many
Yeah.
people come up to you, especially in some of the bigger cities.
Especially New York, everywhere.
Right.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And so then that's like, so it can be a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
And then I guess for me, sometimes it's hard to know which stories are
Legit.
legit and which ones are not. And because I visited my brother in where he was going to college, and he kind of knew a little bit better if someone was trying to scam versus actually being in need. And so that's a little bit hard to know. Yeah, I feel that tension. It's hard. So yeah. So one of the things that I try to do is I try to give them my time, not just my money is, like, oh, here, fine, take this.
That makes sense.
So whether it's like, what I try to do is just sit with them. And
Really?
I've done this. Yeah. In just some different places.
Okay.
Cause like, I'm not, it's like, I don't carry cash often. And, but I want to hear their story and I want to know, like, why are you here? And so, one time I was in, California with some of my friends, and then they couldn't find me. They're like, what, where did Scott go? And then they came back, and I was just sitting with this homeless guy, and I just wanted to hear his story. And,
no.
But I think what I like about that is there was this guy in Corvallis who he was a veteran and he had lost a leg, and he was trying to get the benefits that he was due, but it wasn't working out. And so then he was trying to get money to help his daughter. And like, as I listened to his story, I was like, wow, this, I think this is really true. Yeah. And then because I heard his story and I knew his name, and I was able to help him with what a little I had there. I think I got him some food, but I was able to see him again and just say like, hey, how's your daughter? What's the update? And I think that's something much more powerful, because then you can actually remember them, see them again, touch base. And there's like a relationship that's formed versus just a one-time moment money.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I really like how you said you want to give them not only the money, but the time to listen to their stories. I think, that's a powerful statement that he just said. Like if I ever go back to the US and I'm like in that position, I might listen to their stories again instead of being like, bye.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard. Like sometimes you're going somewhere and you're like, look, I got to just go. And I sometimes if I'm with Brianna, I feel a little bit differently. I don't know if this is good or bad, but I'm maybe a little bit less likely to stop and engage if I'm with Brianna, and especially now that we have like a family. And I don't know if that's fear in me or something, but especially when I was just me, I was like, yeah, I got nothing to do. Let's just sit.
Yeah.
Tell me your story.
I think like if you took the time just to talk to Brianna about like what you want to do, I think she'll be much more understanding, because like at the end of the day, like most world problems just comes to down thing. Like you just need to improve your communication skills. That's it. Like one of the most stupid problems I see in this world, just because of one problem, they didn't communicate it well, like the Israeli-Palestine conflict, the Sunni-Shia conflict. It's all because of communication. Like if we just solve that part, then most of the world problems will be resolved. Like even like today's politics, I think it's just funny. It's funny just because of they were not able to communicate with each other. And that's like not only in politics, that's like everywhere in life. Like even in Islam, maybe like how I perceived Islam in the beginning was wrong because of me, because I didn't communicate it well with my family or anything. So yeah, so like
Mm.
if you ask the right questions, I think it could solve the most problems. Yeah, if you ask the right questions.
Interesting. What kind of conflicts do you feel like are happening between Muslims right now?
Um, Between Muslims, I think it's not between Muslims. I think one of the biggest problems is between Muslim and Jews, but
Hmm.
like it's because of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and especially like what happened in May of 2021. Um, like the problem is like a 70-year-old problem,
Hmm.
and I'm not here to stand to support one side or the other. I'm like, hey, if you want to solve the problem, just communicate with each other. Like, don't throw rockets at each other. Like,
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
sit down and communicate. Um, yeah, it all comes to communication. Even the other problem we face is like between Iran, like the Gulf country, like Saudi Arabia and its allies, and the Gulf country and Iran.
Hmm.
I actually don't know like the specifics of it, but I know that they hate each other.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, they hate each other, especially after the Iranian Revolution.
Hmm.
I don't know like the bottom of it. I don't know like the story, but like I know that there's a conflict between the two, and I think like if just like two sides talk to each other, then they could solve most problems. Which reminded me of something. Back in the Cold War, the Soviets and the US were like an intense relationship, and there was an alarm that alarmed in the Soviet army base that says, "Hey, you need to drop weapons against the U.S. Like drop atomic bombs against the U.S." And then the Soviet soldier was like, "Um, no," and he trusted his gut feeling, and he didn't. Um, and he didn't bomb the U.S.
Whoa.
But uh, like especially he didn't bomb the US, and the alarm alerted him, and like the system alerted him that missiles are coming from the US, so you should fight back, but he didn't. And
Hmm.
because of his guts, he didn't started World War III. So like that's just like this example story, like this story just just tells us like most of the world problems could be solved through communication. And I don't through communication. I don't know the name of the man, the
Right.
Soviet, but like it's a true story. I'm like not making this up. It's like a true
Wow.
legit story.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy. But I like how it illustrates what you're saying. Like, um, hmm. Um,
yeah. It comes down to communication. It comes down to communication.
yeah. So I'm kind of curious, because I really don't know. So could you update me or describe who was Muhammad
Yeah,
and what did he
absolutely.
do and what did he teach?
Yeah,
I'm curious about
yeah,
some of
no
those things.
problem. So Muhammad, peace be upon him, was the last prophet of Islam. He was raised in Mecca. Yeah, he was raised in Mecca. He lost his mom when he was 6 years old, and he lost his dad when he was a young boy, like when he was a baby. And then I think his uncle raised him throughout his life. And he was like a noble person. He did his job, he did his chores. Um, but um, but like in before Islam was introduced to him, I think there was um, statues, like statues that represent as gods. You know what I mean by that? So it was everywhere in Mecca, and he used to question it. He was like, "Is that legit? Is that real?" Like I'm questioning things. I don't know if that's real. Was like, please God, provide me with help, provide me with assistance. And then he went to the mountain one day, and then um, Jabril, which is one of the angels that serves Allah, came down, and then he said to Muhammad, the first word he said to him, "Iqra," like read. And then that frightened Muhammad, and then he went back to his home, and then I think he came back again, and then Islam was introduced to him, and it was introduced that Allah is the only God, and yeah, and then he went back to the people of Mecca, introducing them religion. Some mocked him, some followed him, and then the people. Then he was forced to move out and move to Medina, and then he built an alliance with Medina, and I think he attacked Mecca with the people of Medina. I don't know if that's true or no. I'm not. I don't know the story, but you should do your research to confirm if I said it was correct or no.
Hmm.
But yeah, and then he started with a few people, and then today you got 1.5 billion Muslims. Like
Yeah,
1,500 years later,
quite the jump.
like from a few hundred to 1.5 billion Muslims, which is
Right.
crazy. And the population is growing faster than ever.
Huh.
It's
So,
crazy.
Yeah. Okay. But so, after, so he attacked Mecca, and then did he write the Quran?
Oh no, so the Quran was like God was giving him words, like was always sending him messages, and then they would write it like in statues because like back in the day they didn't have paper and pen, so they wrote in the statues. And then after Prophet Muhammad passed away, then his companions created this book, the Quran.
Hmm.
I think the Quran was created before his death, or like partially done, or like completed after he died. I'm actually not sure about that, but yeah. But that's how the Quran was written. Yeah, that's how the Quran was written.
Hmm. Do you know how old he is when he died?
64, 65.
And
Yeah.
and did he die of old age, or how did he die?
Honestly, I don't know.
Huh.
Honestly, I will be honest with you. I really don't know.
Huh.
I'm not.
Um,
Yeah, I don't
and
know.
then, so from what I've understood, the difference between Shia and Sunni follow what his companions wrote, and then Shia follows what his family
Um.
wrote.
So Sunni and Shia. Um. When he introduced his Islam, it was introduced as one Islam. There was nothing called Sunni or Shia. But the Islam that he was perceiving to people was like Sunni Islam. And then after he passed away, I know that there was like a conflict of interest, and then people were like, no, this, and then the other people like, no, that. So I think they branched out to create Shia, and while the others became Sunni.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that's what I know. Um, I don't know if that's right or wrong. Like partially of it is correct, but like there's like these wars and people that fought in the war that I don't know from the top of my head, but yeah, that's like
Hmm.
the Sunni and Shia conflict. That's like the Saudi and Iranian conflict. It represents the conflict in the past because like Iran is Shia and Saudi Arabia is mostly Sunni.
Hmm. And is Kuwait mostly Sunni?
Yeah, 85% Sunni, 15% Shia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the hadiths that's the teachings of people who came after Muhammad, right?
Yeah, during Muhammad dates and after Muhammad dates, like the
Okay.
hadith. So the thing about hadith is that like so hadith is like the quote that they said. So what I remember is that like do you know like if you pass down information from one person to another, like you won't pass down to him the full information, but like the partial, and you will make the other things up.
Oh.
Uh, um, so what I'm trying to say is that like let's say person A told to person B something, and then person B told to person C the same thing that person A said, but he tweaked a little bit.
Right.
So that's like the hadith. So like he said something, but like not everything you see in the hadith is like accurately 100%. There are some they tweaked it a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah. And so
So
how do you
yeah,
know, which ones to listen to? Because I guess I have this perception that there's a whole bunch of hadiths out there, and then there's some competition or conflict over which ones are actually true.
yeah.
Is yeah.
Honestly, I don't know which one is the right one or which one is the wrong one. Like, I think at the end of the day, you need to understand the message. Like, don't judge it word by word. Like,
Hmm.
as long as you get the meaning, that's the most important thing. I don't know if they even changed the meaning, but like at the end of the day, trust your gut feeling. If you believe in that hadith or no, or if you agree with it.
Hmm.
Like at the end of the day, a hadith is a quote, and we see quotes everywhere.
Hmm. Okay, so they're not like full books. They're just like short.
Yeah, like they're like short conversations, like short messages that they said.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know if that's right. I think like part of it is true, but I don't know if it's 100% true. Like if a religious, like if an Islam scholar listen to what I just said, he might say everything he said is wrong, and I agree with him
Ah,
because like I'm not the most like I don't know the most things about Islam. Like
yeah,
I just know about my own perspective. I don't know about like the full perspective.
for sure. And that's what I said in the beginning. I'm not bringing you
Yeah,
on as like the expert on Islam, but
I
just
know, I know, I
what
know.
it is from your perspective. So this is
Yeah,
all really interesting because I think this then shows um, either what things are important for the average Muslim to know, and what things are like not as important.
yeah.
And me and my little, like I'm coming in, I don't know a ton, so I'm asking these questions about some things I've heard. Um, yeah, and so maybe it's that case, but also, yeah, there might be listeners that are like, no, these are really important, and this is what they are. But I guess, Ali, I am kind of curious, like, so within Christianity, we often have, so we have the Bible,
Yes.
and even within the Bible, there's actually multiple different authors. But let's say there's the writings of Paul, who was writing letters he was writing after Jesus to churches on what it looks like to actually follow Christianity, what Jesus means to them and for their life. So you've got the writings of Paul, but then throughout the ages, you've had Christians who have then commented on the writings of Paul, and so then even today you have people called pastors who their job is to teach and help explain and help us understand the writings that are in the Bible, whether it's the Gospels about Jesus's life or the Old Testament, or and so really good pastor is able to kind of open up the world of these scriptures because it's in a time that we're not living in today, and it's in these languages that we don't speak today, Hebrew or Greek or Aramaic. And so I really appreciate pastors and the knowledge that they have, and they often go to seminary. And so I guess I was kind of curious, like, is there equivalent in Islam? Well, I guess like I know that there's imams, which are like the teachers, correct?
Yeah, kind of. Like imams. So like imams are like the people who do their weekly Friday speech.
Uh,
Yeah, and they are the one who call the prayers
hmm. So would the Friday speech be like the equivalent of a sermon for us?
on every Sunday.
Right. Yeah. So like we go to
Yes,
church to listen to a sermon.
yes. But like
Um,
in the church, no, I was gonna say something, but like in the church, when you go to church, it's like men and women they sit together, but like in the mosque, men and women are separated. Like the men have their own room, and the women have their own room.
hmm.
Yeah.
And are they listening to something different? Is someone teaching the women? Someone's teaching the.
No. They listen to the same things, but like the men when they sit, they see the imam while he talks, but the women are like hidden in the back, but they still see it.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Um, Honestly, I think it's good. I think it's good actually. I think it's good that they separate men and women.
Okay.
Like it's good and bad. So I think like it's good. So you won't see a lot of sexual abuse that men do to women. Like, you know what I mean by that?
Hmm.
Like, you won't hear about like bad things that men are doing to women, like offending them or anything. So that's like the good thing. But the bad thing is that men are not getting to know the woman. Like they are like specified into one gender. I'm like,
Hmm.
you need to meet the other gender, you know?
Hmm.
So I think it's good and bad at the same time. Yeah.
And it could maybe, to my ears, it can kind of feel like church or the mosque is really only for the men, and the women you can kind of have this
Yes.
other
Yeah.
the back area, and you can't even see
Yeah.
the imam. So that's like kind of that. I don't know. That doesn't sit very well for me, I guess.
Yeah. I like for me, it's fine because like I was raised up in that environment. So like I'm like, yeah, cool. But like even like if I go like into into church with men and women, like it's not a big deal. I'm not gonna be like I'm against it because like I have guys friends and I have girlfriend like girl space friends. So like I'm
Right.
like cool with it.
Yeah. Interesting. But so are there, yeah. So okay, so Ali, if you were to want to understand more about Muhammad and Allah, how would you go about doing that?
Yeah, as I told you in the beginning, I think I need to do my prayers. Like I need to wake up every day like 5 a.m. to start off my day and just do my prayers. I think like in that way, then I could improve my relationship
Hmm.
with Allah and just getting a little bit deeper, just understanding Islam a little bit better.
Hmm.
Like as I said, like my goal is not to be religious, but like is to understand a little bit better because there are still things I don't know, but like that I would like to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Uh, is reading the Quran part of what the average Muslim does, or is that not necessarily something people
Um,
do?
I will be honest with you, like when I was in school, I used to read the Quran every week because like you need to memorize it for the teacher so he could
Oh,
grade you. But
oh, whoa.
right now, I actually don't read the Quran. I think
Hmm.
I think that needs to be changed, honestly, like even reading the Quran. But yeah,
Hmm.
the average person reads it, but like he doesn't get fully involved with it.
Yeah.
Like the people at my age, and it depends like because like our generation is totally different than the previous generation. But yeah, we I don't think we read the Quran that much, but like at the end, it differs between person to person. But like for me, I don't read it that much, and I think that also needs to be improved. Like I'm not trying to, yeah, I'm like I'm not proud of it, but like yeah, but that needs to be improved,
Huh.
honestly.
Huh. I, I wasn't necessarily meaning to add another
Yeah, yeah,
another
yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. No, 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 no. That's totally
um.
fine. No, 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 that's totally fine.
Yeah. So interesting. Um. Hmm. Okay. Well, we're coming near to the end of our first part.
Nice.
So then we'll take a break and then we'll come back and we'll keep discussing some different things. I know you might have some questions for me.
Yeah.
But I guess one of the things I wanted to just end this part with is, Ollie, what is something that you're looking forward to in the future in your spirituality? What's something you're looking into? You kind of already talked about prayer and fasting and maybe the Quran,
Yeah.
but like what type of person would you like to be as a result, or what's something that's fascinating you as you look to the
Um,
future?
as I look to the future, that's a good question to ask. Actually, like I want just to reach and achieve my goals. That's what I want to do. I would say like for the first 2 years because like I can't think like I have like a plan for the next 10 years, but like I need to focus for the first 2 years. So in order for the next 8 years to be achieved, you know. So like I think I really I had set myself like these four goals, like to improve my financial wealth, but religion is part of it. To improve on my prayers and like to improve my spirituality with God, to improve my health, and to improve my relationships with people. But
Hmm,
like religion, yeah, religion is very important.
hmm,
I think I see religion like as a way of life. Like it's like the
hmm,
guidance, like
hmm,
what you should do and don't do. Yeah.
hmm. Okay. So yeah, it seems like you want to deepen your involvement in these different areas.
Yeah,
You've got
like
some things there already, but you want to make it more a part of who you are, more
yeah, like
steady.
I don't want like religion to control me, but I want religion to be part of me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like at the beginning when I was like in my first 2 years, I was like, okay, I was like how religion could control me so I could be a better person. But I'm like, no, how can religion be a part of me? Like,
Hmm,
yeah, how can I connect it and blend it together? How can I blend like all these four things together?
hmm.
That's it. Yeah.
I think that sounds great. I think that's awesome. Okay, great. Well, let's wrap this one up. So all you out there, thanks for
Yeah, I'm
listening,
there.
and stay tuned for our part 2 to see what else we get into. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Let us know what you thought of this video. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel or turn on notifications or check out our Patreon page or our social media or do all of them. We're a podcast, so wherever you get your podcasts, give us a listen, whether you're doing the dishes or pooping or walking the dog. We'd love to be there with you. Finally, if you like this video, check out these videos.